Rev your engines and fasten your seatbelts. It's time for Thunder Talk with Dan Bailey, keeping you up to date on everything going on this season at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Thunder Talk is powered by Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Now, here's your host, Dan Bailey.
Welcome, race fans, to another edition of Thunder Talk. Tonight, we get to talk with somebody who exploded onto the scene last Friday night with his very first Dirt Kings Late Model Touring Series Late Model feature win. I'm talking about Dustin Sorensen, driver of the number 19. Dustin, welcome to this week's edition of Thunder Talk.
Thanks for having me. It's always nice to be able to talk to you on here.
Dustin, last Friday night was exceptional evening for you and that MB Customs number 19. Talk us through the evening, how everything fell together in order to get you onto victory lane at the end of that 40-lap Dirt Kings Late Model Touring Series feature.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely wasn't expecting that. I don't know, just got a good start there in the heat race, started on a pole and ended up winning the heat race, and then I got this kid that always comes with and helps me. He always draws for me and pretty good at it. I don't know if he's ever drawn worse than 4 or something, but he drew 1 for me for the feature, so that was obviously a big help. And then I just, once I got up front, I was just giving it all I had, hoping I could keep him behind me.
You know, starting on the pole obviously would give you some high hopes for how the evening might progress, but at what point in that 40-lap feature did you start thinking to yourself, hey, hold on here a second, I may be looking at a win here?
It was probably about lap 20. I think there was a caution on lap 22, and I didn't really realize what lap it was. I figured it was probably still lap 10, but the caution came out on lap 22, and I realized it was half over, and my car still felt pretty good. It wasn't really fading or nothing, and it was still going good on top there, so I thought maybe I might have a shot at it.
You know, I want to focus on the excitement and the success of Friday night, but we need to back up one evening further to Thursday night's program, and Thursday night's program just did not give you the same sort of results. As a matter of fact, you crossed the line 20th in Thursday night's 40-lap feature. So what was the big difference between Thursday's show and Friday's show?
On Thursday night, I actually felt pretty good in the late model too, and I started 14th or something, I think, and I was getting up there in the top 10, and then I lost brakes in the late model, so I ended up pulling off there, but felt pretty good Thursday night too, just didn't have a chance to finish.
So you've had a good season this year. You've got that win with the late model. You've got a feature win with the modified. Grade yourself. You know, we're kind of closing in on maybe that halfway point of this kind of weird, bizarre 2020 season. How are you feeling so far through this year?
I haven't even thought about it, really. Honestly, it feels like it's still the beginning of the season, the way it's been going. Kind of, are we racing or are we not racing, or don't really know what's going to happen. But yeah, the modified stuff started out really good there. I got a US MTS win at Salt City, and then started doing some more late model stuff, and that's been going good too. I had a good run with the Dirt Kings earlier in the year too, and then obviously the win last Friday was huge, so it's been going pretty good. I don't know, I hadn't really thought about it much, to be honest. It still feels like it's springtime.
I've talked with a lot of drivers such as yourself who pull double duties on a race night with a modified and a late model, and I get pretty much the same answer from all of them, that those two cars, specifically an A-mod and a late model, are two completely different beasts. So do you find it easy, difficult, when you have to switch from a modified into the late model, or from the late model into a modified all on the same night, back and forth?
Yeah, it's they for sure drive differently, I think. At least, I mean, the late models, you can drive them so much harder, and then you go get a modified, and it's like you got no traction. But so yeah, I think it takes a few laps to get used to, but then once I get back in the modified, it's kind of like back to old memory of what I've been doing for the last 5 years. So after a few laps, I think it kind of comes back.
I was talking with one of your friends and competitors, Jake Tim, last year after he had picked up his Dirt Kings Late Model Touring Series feature win, and I posed that same question to him, and I added which is easier to drive, the modified or the late model. He said that he thought the late model was much easier to drive. Do you concur? Do you agree with that? Do you feel that way?
I don't know if it's necessarily easier or not. I mean, there were such good cars in both classes there last weekend that you're kind of having to drive as hard as you could in both of them, I feel like. But the track was also pretty fast for a late model, so maybe that's why I'm thinking it was harder, because you had to be up on the wheel more.
Do you feel like this is going to be your regular layout then for the rest of this year, maybe next year? Stay with this two-car attack, or are you gravitating more towards being just a late model driver?
I don't think so. I think I kind of like what we're doing now, just running both classes and hitting some bigger races that we can go to. It's nice. It's definitely nice having the option to run either. I mean, they're both They're both very competitive classes that you can go to some bigger money races in for both of them, especially around this area. It seems like 2 or 3 times a month there's always a big race to go to in one of the classes.
You got a modified at the shop, you've got a late model at the shop, and you have a great list of supporters who help you make sure that you're bringing quality equipment to the racetrack each and every week. So who's helping out Sorensen Racing for the 2020 season?
Yeah, for sure. I got a ton of people that help me, not only like sponsorship-wise, but also people coming to the shop helping me. It's a lot of work running 2 cars, especially at the track, trying to keep both cars ready to go for the races. But for my sponsors this year, I got Ford Metro Glass in Rochester, Minnesota. They've been sponsoring me, and they sponsored my dad 30 years ago, and they've been supporting us ever since. So it's really cool to have them on board still. We got Carol's Corn. They've been supporting me the last couple of years. They do a lot for me. MB Customs, all the guys over there at Mars Race Cars, they're huge supporters of mine. They do a lot for me. Ivox Spring, Schaefer's Oil, they're both great product sponsors of mine. They got really good stuff. Paulson Rock Products and Sousa Construction, they've been doing a lot for me. And of course my mom and dad, who spend every weekend at the racetrack with me, so I can't thank them enough for all they do. And then got all kinds of crew guys that come with.
We've got another big late model special that was just announced coming up at Mississippi Thunder Speedway in August. That'll be August 21st, the big Dairyland Showdown. So I would assume that would give you another opportunity to bring that open late model back to Mississippi Thunder Speedway for some competition. But what other sort of plans do you have for the remainder of this year with the late model?
Well, actually, this weekend we're going over by Green Bay to race with the World of Outlaws. That'll be exciting. See how that goes. I'm sure it'll be some tough competition over there, but I'm excited for that. And then I don't really know what else. Kind of taking it week by week here. We were planning on running the Go 50, but that got canceled because of coronavirus. So I guess you can't even really look too far ahead with all that's going on.
Have you competed with the World of Outlaws before, or will this be your maiden trip this coming weekend?
This will be my first time competing with them, so I'm definitely really excited for it.
It's a whole nother level when you get to compete with competitors like that in the World of Outlaws. So do you, as a driver, do you have to drive differently when you get mixed in with a caliber of drivers such as that?
I don't think so. I've always been I guess I always kind of try and drive as hard as I can. I mean, there's times in the race where you kind of got to ease off a little bit, but I think I'm always giving it all I got and being as aggressive as I can.
Well, you showed us this last week that you can give it enough to take that number 19 all the way to victory lane, because you did during the Dirt Kings Late Model Touring Series Firecracker 40 last Friday at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Dustin, congratulations on that huge breakout win with the late model last Friday night. And, of course, thank you very much for joining us this week on Thunder Talk.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's always nice talking to you, especially in victory lane.
That was Thunder Talk, keeping you up to date on everything going on at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Thunder Talk is powered by Arcadia Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram.
You ever notice that when you're on a fishing trip, you drive your boat all the way to the other side of the lake because you think that's where the best fishing is? And the people staying at the cabins on that side of the lake, well, they come and fish where your cabin is. You don't have to drive a long ways to catch the big fish. And at Arcadia Motors, you don't have to drive a long ways to get the best deal on a new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram truck. The best deals are right in the bay next to your cabin. Take this short, scenic drive to Arcadia Motors. ArcadiaDodge.com.